Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody in the UK and all around the world. Welcome to Open Minds. Today we have the lovely Karen Shearer as my co-host.
Yes, it's me today.
We've got rid of Chris. We've got rid of Chris again. Poor Chris. Good morning, everybody. So, Karen, how are you?
I'm okay, actually. I'm all good. I'm all good. The weather's been nice here. It's a little bit cloudy today, but that's all right. But yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Are you all right, Gloria?
We've had wonderful weather in the Hot Fuzz Village. We had showers this morning, which were really nice. The garden needs it because I must have planted about 8 trees already in the garden. So we need the rain. So today, guys, we have an amazing show once again. But before we continue, I would just like to give out some information. So today is show number 22. I can't believe we've done 22 shows. 22 of the most amazing guests from all the world. What is going to happen soon? We go all the way up to, and you can't wait for this, our last show will be of season 1. We are coming back. Our last show of season 1 will be on Sunday the 18th, where we have Maria Wheatley and the dowsing, everything dowsing live. So on Sunday the 18th of July, get your pendulums out, get ready, because she is going to take us on a dowsing journey. I mean, Chris is definitely not coming on the show on that day, is he?
Yeah, that's me. That day.
That's you. Yeah, send him shopping. You send him where he needs to go. And that last show of season 1 will be our 25th show. 25th. So we're having a break. We're going to have a little rest. Well, so we think. We're going to revamp the show, update it a bit, and do some different things. And I can give this out. We return with season 2 of Open Minds on Sunday, the 29th of August, with the amazing Cheryl Costa. I'm saying no more. Go Google. Go Google. And it's going to be an absolutely powerful start to season 2 of the show. So I've given that out. Okay. Now, are we ready? Would you like to get our wonderful guest out of the naughty room? Welcome, Yossi, to the show.
Yes, will do. Oh.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
Hello from the UK.
Hello from Israel.
What time is it in Israel?
It's now 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
Well, I know you're a very, very busy man today, so we're going to go straight into the show today. Welcome and thank you very much for coming on today. I have my altar cue, guys, as you know, so I don't get nothing wrong. So today we're off to Israel. Is it Tel Aviv? Tel Aviv we're in today?
Yes, it's near Tel Aviv. I'm living in Holland.
Okay. How do we say that?
Holland, it's Holland in Hebrew.
Are you ready? Holland. How's
Holland.
that?
Yeah.
Holland. There you go. Okay. Yossi has had face-to-face encounters and communication with several aliens who appeared in his room where he lived in the year of 1981 in Los Angeles at the time. The experience led with his life taking a new direction, a new path. His interests have changed to independent search and learning in the areas related to his encounter and the phenomena itself. For 2 years, he has written articles in alternative magazines in Israel, articles directly or indirectly related to UFOs and contact or meeting the visitors, such as alternative medicine, current events in mysticism, parapsychology, oneness, God, and the ancient secret Hebrew language. God, there's a lot. The Book of One. The Book One is a summary of about 40 years of his study and research. Is that the book I read, Yossi?
Yes.
Was that? Yes. I have to tell you, I've read Yossi's book and I cried. It is so emotive and so brings such conscious awareness. We recommend that you purchase and read the book. So for 40 years of his research, the world of spirit, cognition, culture, and the human spirit in the face of the contact and the information he's received from the visitors. Now, the book opens a window into understanding the multidimensional consciousness and perceptions of the visitors and the relation to the development of our human understanding of our reality and consciousness. This year, he's also wrote a chapter about his experience for the second and upcoming academic book by Free Foundation, The Science of Consciousness and Contact with Non-Human Intelligence. After the show, we will put I think the links are up already, but we'll repost the links after the show's finished. So Yossi, we have a lot to go through today, and I'm going to hand the show over to you. If you could start at the beginning with the experience, and then you just lead it all the way through to current events and the research that you've done and the understanding that that's come about from this. So thank you very much, Yossi.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to talk about it. You know, for many years it was not so easy, and I tried not to talk about it, but you know, we're living in a very, I think, historical time when the Pentagon, for the first time after so many years, admit that the army is contacting something that he don't understand. I mean, and it's only related now to the UFOs, but the thing is that you know, we are going to go much deeper to the contact with the visitor themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened to me on a very young age, when I was 21, in a year that I was living in Los Angeles. And I didn't have any knowledge about UFOs or aliens. And in the year 81, there was no books that I knew about or research on this subject. And it happened in the daytime, afternoon, when we came back from work. We went to rest, and I rest on the bed on the living room, and my brother went to sleep in his bedroom. And suddenly, for the first time of my life, I found myself out of my body. And this is that was the beginning of the communication. Now, to be out of your body is really different kind of consciousness, because you are not aware of reality from your body, from your senses, mm-hmm. from your brain. You're actually out of that, out of your body, and you are conscious to reality in a very different way. And it seems that the visitors did that on purpose, probably. I'm not sure of, you know, they didn't tell me exactly why they did what they did, and probably they let me to understand it alone. And I think that was the way for them to help me facing the contact, mm-hmm. because the first contact that I saw them face to face was without my body. It was without the instinctive borders, fear, and all the rational thinking of contact the unknown, which for our body is very frightened, yeah. especially when this visitor looks so different. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have any, information or history of contacts. But when I saw them without my body, I was like hovering over my bed, looking at my body sleeping on the bed. And I saw them 4 or 5 creatures in the room. And it was very ordinary for me to see them in that situation. I'm not in my body yet.
Yeah.
And they were like walking in the room, touching stuff. One of them was standing near my bed and looking at my head on the bed. My head was turning to the wall yet, not to the room. And I was sleeping, and he was like standing and looking at my head, maybe doing something, or I don't know, communicating in a way. And I felt very good with that. I felt that he's doing a very good thing. I felt very close to them.
Yeah.
In that situation, it like I remember them from like a far memory of your childhood, of your childhood friends, or lost, or very your family when you was young, and you remember something. And I felt very pleasant, and we were communicating, and we were laughing a lot, like children.
Could you describe them at this point? What did they look like, Yossi?
They look very short, and very similar to the Greys, but they will look green.
Yeah.
The skin green with no hair, a very big head comparing to the other body parts. The fingers were very long. They had a very gentle body, green with spots of maybe yellow, something like that, dark yellow. And their eyes were very big and elliptic.
Like the grey, same.
Yes, but the eyes, from my point of view, they looked not pointed, but more like this.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
And that was the end of the face-to-face contact, and I wake up still with the smile on my face from the memory. And I didn't really, at the first moments, understand that I had the out-of-body experience. I thought that I had a dream that I'm out of my body and looking at my body. I didn't have any information on even knowing this idea that you can go out of your body and look not with your eyes, but you can see still. And I thought, what a weird dream I had of green creatures in my room, and we were laughing and we knew each other. And then I suddenly heard a noise from my behind, from the room, and I thought maybe a thief came. I started to be tense from that noises that I heard in the room. And I turn around and sit on the bed to see who is walking there in the room, and I had the shock of my life, and the fear grabbed me with a, my body became.
Sorry, at this point for the audience, now you're totally awake.
Yes.
You're absolutely totally awake. So obviously you're going to relate totally different to the experience. Sorry, do go on.
Yes, that's it, and that was the point that now I started to look at them, to see them with my ordinary consciousness.
Yeah.
And the first thought that I had is that something wrong happened to me, or that I'm still dreaming, and I think that I woke up, but I'm still dreaming. Or the worse, there's something, some creatures standing here near me, and they are very frightened looking, something that you don't know. It was very shocking. All of my body was paralyzed from fear.
Yeah.
and I didn't know what to do. They were standing there looking at me, waiting for something. And I didn't know what to do. I started to feel very tense and noisy in my head that I didn't understand what's going on. And I didn't have any other choice. I tried to realize that a minute ago I saw them, and we had a very good, even loving experience together. And maybe it's true. Maybe I see them once again now, and the fear is only mine. Because I wasn't in a fear a minute ago. So as the second as I started to lower my fear, I started to realize that the noise in my head, it's not a really noise, it's the connection of them to my mind. I started to realize that they can experience my feelings. They can experience my thoughts. They know what is going on with me in a very natural way. And that gave me a little bit more releasing the fear. And I started to be open to that consciousness that I felt. And I realized that I know that he is aware of my consciousness and my thoughts because I am aware of his. I mean, the reason that I can know, that I realize that he is can understand my thoughts is because I know what he's thinking.
So basically, you were having a telepathic communication.
Yes, and that was the telepathic communication. Now, the thing is that this communication is not in the way that we think about telepathy. It was connecting in a very deep way that they do in a very natural way with each other, and they did it with me too. What they did, they just let me go and be connected to their consciousness, and they do it with them in the room. I from the one that was close to me and looked at my eyes with his big eyes, I felt the other's consciousness too. And I realized that we are all together as one consciousness now, but it's not a one brain. It's each one of us has his own individuality, his own thoughts, his own emotions, but we are open and having each other's consciousness. And by that, it even lowered my fear more and started to raise my curiosity of that, because their consciousness was amazing. What they felt, what they were thinking was in a very different experiencing reality. Because the consciousness was like connecting to everything, not only me or others like them. It was connecting to everything in the room and behind the room and the trees outside and the animals. They were like connecting to everything that I realized that is connected already, but I didn't know that. I didn't have the experience of understanding that everything is connected consciously. And they do it very, very simple, in a very simple, natural way of their consciousness. And in those seconds, I realized that each one of us, have the same. We all have this capacity of, in a very natural way, of connecting to each other. We don't have to talk or communicate, like sending words or getting information. We can just be connected, and we have it. And this is that was one of the reasons that they didn't have an ego like us. because they were so open to each other, and the kind of personality of them was not with our relative thinking of ego of winner or loser or good or bad or better or worse. Totally different thinking of experiencing and having the reality and sharing it with each other and with everything. And this wide awareness was so deep, and I felt because of that, because of realizing the connection between everything, the trees, the animals, us, I realized that this connection is in a simple word is kind of empathic love to everything. And this love that we use the word love, and we have only connotations to one to each other, one to animal, or one to, but the love is, for them, it's the real essence of everything. And it doesn't have the need to love or don't love. It's like love is the basic of everything, and you're realizing it. You see it, you experience it or not. It's depend on your personality or your decision to do that or not to do that. And that was the moment that I wanted to go deeper into their consciousness to see where it came from. I mean, how much deep I can go inside their consciousness, and to travel with that, because they were aware of many things that they were very new for me. And they felt immense love and like light everywhere, and they were aware of it, and I wanted to know what is it. I was curious to go deeper in that, and I realized that they are aware of something that give life or existence to everything. They are not like us thinking that we are independent creature that live his life and that's all. They are aware of something that give the basic reality itself. They are aware of that energy, but they don't have any form of rational understanding of that energy.
Yes.
So at this point, what was your thoughts on this? What was you thinking these creatures, where had they come from? Was it something that you thought of at the time? They must be an ET, or what was your thoughts on that? Who did you think they were?
Yes, I had a kind of a question to them, where you came from. It's not words. It's like you think of a question, and you, in the same instance, you get the answer because you are connected.
Yeah.
So all I'm going to say about what they say to me, they didn't say with words. I interpreted for words. I have with myself a kind of a translation for the best words to say about what they answered me. So their answer was like that. The way you translate for yourself a very different and far away visitors like us is thinking that we are from a different and far star. But actually we are from a different dimension. And this is a word that I don't understand even now totally. I understand a bit of that. Because other dimension, the way I felt that, it's not a different place. It's not a different physical place. It's a different place in our consciousness. And this is the other dimension. And they have this ability to be connected to the other dimensions in the same way that they were connected to each other. And in the instance that they let me be connected to their consciousness, I had to, I felt or experienced their connection to that immense energy that give life. It was similar to be in the womb of mother that protects you and have you and give you life, something like that. They had this realization that we all protected from all around of us, and we are giving life, and nature is every instance is living by something else that they don't understand themselves too. They don't have a form of that. That this is almost the only way that we try to understand things, is to give a form for that, a personality, size, place. But that energy that they are aware of wasn't in any way or form that I can explain. And I think that even for them, it was not explainable in a rational way as we try to do. They were just know that very naturally and live with that. And this understanding give them a lot of confidence and the ability to feel a strong love to everything around, because they know that they are lived by this love, and this is everything around, and they were very comfortable and peaceful. And
Yeah, I think
yeah.
it's so beautiful how you liken their way of communicating and their understanding on the love vibration, because I think, like you said, we have our own words for what love means, or how you love someone. But ultimately, when you do, if somebody asks you to describe what love is, there is no words for it. It's all about the feeling, isn't it? With when we talk about love, actually, there isn't words to describe it. It's very much a feeling, and I think that's beautiful how you can describe the way they view things, or the way they can use their consciousness for that. That's just lovely. That. Thank you so much for that. That's really given me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the reasons that probably the government, that I believe that they know much more than they say.
Yeah.
The problem for them to confront us for what they know, because I believe that I know that hundreds of thousands of people have this contact, and
Yes.
probably the government knows that, and probably they have some people that they have experience, and they are all trying to understand what's going on. But it's so difficult to explain it, or to really understand that I think that if they know all the pictures, they do it very slowly for us, because we need time to digest it and to understand. For instance, what you talked about, how it's hard to explain with words. It's because our thinking is with words, and
Absolutely.
what it the what it does, that our thinking is have forms of things, and it's hard for us to, for instance, to understand things that they are in a contradiction to each other, but they are one. I mean, and this is what's going on with them. I mean, their consciousness see all the all the opposite things without the separation of them. They see the connection with them. And for our thinking is very difficult, because we have a word for darkness and word for light, and word for sadness and word for happy and word for love, and we cannot experience them only in each one of them with a separation experience. We cannot experience bad and good together. It doesn't make sense for us. But for them, it's very easy and it's natural. So this is
can I ask on that? I mean, obviously, as I said, when you read the book, it you just shift. I mean, it's that beautiful. I take you back to, like you were saying about the Pentagon and that, and they're talking about disclosure. Disclosure is happening with the experiences. Disclosure has already happened, and it is still happening with experiences and all the experiences groups and interviews that are going on globally at the moment. And I don't really think how the governments don't know how to control this. They're trying to control it. It's a bit too late. Well, too late. That's my personal truth. However, Yossi, as you're aware, the experiences around the world that are coming up now, and awakening, they're either awakening through the experience with contact or awakening to understanding their true self. The next step we're looking at, where do you think with this consciousness that these dimensional beings are bringing us, where do you think the next step it's going to take us, Yossi, with your understanding of what you've experienced?
Well, my personal translation, and each one of us that have contact will or do have his own interpretation, and it's going to be like that, and it have to be like that.
Yes.
For our rational thinking, it's confusing, because we think if one see them like a reptilian and the other see them like an angel,
yes,
one of them is wrong, and it's not like that.
No, it's not. It's all true.
It's our interpretation that is the road that we walk to the oneness, and the oneness is it will begin in our consciousness that can have all the interpretations and see the whole picture.
Yes.
And I think that one of maybe the main reason for them to come and do this communication that is all 100% consciousness is because they are related to us, and they want us to survive and continuing the living and life, this beautiful life that we have here, and not destroying ourselves because the limited consciousness that unfortunately we are still having.
Yeah.
And they want us to be open to our ability of consciousness, and the way they do it, like you said now, with our with the experiences, is actually doing that.
Yes.
What we are doing now, that we are talking and trying with each other to understand what's going on, is exactly that.
It's exactly that.
Exactly that. We have a couple other people saying it in a different light of story, but on the end we're going to connect it all together.
Absolutely.
And this connection is going to be the development of our consciousness.
Absolutely.
And this is literally the meaning of to be enlightened, because enlightened is light, and light is to see something that you didn't see before because it was dark.
Yeah.
So it's more and more.
That was beautifully put, Yossi. You put that beautifully. I mean, I couldn't have expressed it in such a elegant and beautiful way. But and I agree. All experiences, it seems as if the contact, well, for my truth, is we had the contact, the experiences for a certain part of the timeline, all different, but ultimately what is a collective oneness truth, even though we may see different beings, is exactly what you said. Each experiencer comes out with exactly what you said. However, you said it more eloquently than I, so it was beautiful. There's a part in the book, the part when we spoke before, when you push them a bit more to experience a bit more of them. Could you please, do you remember that bit? Could you share that with the audience, please? Because I always say in the groups, I have a telepathy group, I have an experiences group, and I always say, careful what you wish for. I always say, be careful what you wish for. Would you share with the audience, please, when you pushed them and you wanted to get a bit closer, what happened?
Yes. I will say what happened, but before I will say a little bit of my understanding about that, so we can use it even more.
Okay.
It seems that the capacity of my consciousness that was without the body was almost limitless.
Mm-hmm.
But with the body, it was really like in a box that have borders.
Yeah.
And the body borders of our senses and brain, it like our body have a certain capacity that he learned to have, that he used to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that in a certain time it hits my capacity. What happened? In my curiosity to understand this beautiful light that was amazing,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to understand it. I wanted to know, to give it a form, to give it a something that I can hold in my thinking. What is that light? What is that thing that gives us life and love and everything? I want to, and I want, and I, because they were open, I was really free to go inside and look for the source of this thing. And suddenly I felt that they are holding me back from that. And it was so strong that I realized that I'm doing something not good with myself, with this drive of consciousness and curiosity, and this something could harm me in a way, my body, my brain, my awareness, it could harm it in a way. And what they did, they decided to stop the connection, but before of that, they gave me a kind of a vision that in the time I heard from thousands, 100,000 of contactees that have this communication with the visitors, of a vision of a something that of is kind of a disaster that we have to be avoiding that from happening.
Yeah.
It was not a vision of something that will happen. It was a vision of how things can go wrong if we will not be aware that we are in a rolling phase to that place, and we can ruin ourselves and the nature.
Yeah.
And the way they did that was very, very interesting, because they have the ability to give us like pictures, give us visions, visual pictures or a movie. What they did, they gave me a kind of a movie to see when and I am in that movie, watching
Yes.
myself in that movie.
Yes.
I'm aware that I'm in a movie. It's like it's very similar that you suddenly have a dream and you are inside the dream and you're doing something.
Yeah.
They did that, and I knew that they are doing that. I mean, it was totally different than the beginning of the communication, that they were open and just let me have their consciousness. They now send me something to experience.
Yeah.
And the movie was that I found myself in a very beautiful place outside, in a beautiful forest with high green trees and a green grass, in a sunny day and the blue sky. You know, birds and cows near me. A couple of cows were eating the grass with pleasure and kind of appreciation to that they can eat the grass, and you know, very wide, beautiful experiencing nature.
Yeah.
And suddenly a strong fire came from the horizon and burned everything, including the cows. And I was standing there and watching these black ashes in front of me. And the feeling was like, what have I done? They wanted me to like experiencing something that if I will not be responsible for, could happen.
Yeah.
And they want me to wake up to that understanding. And probably they do it for many, many people.
Yeah,
Because
I've had them. Yeah.
You have that too.
I've had it too. Yeah. What possibly could happen?
Yeah.
Not will happen. It's a possibility to be aware and take responsibility. Yeah.
Yes. And maybe now it's an urgent time for us to wake up for that, because if you think about it, all the countries that have this nuclear missiles, it gives that in our reality, if one of the soldiers gonna press the button, it's all gonna end. It's gonna be, we all gonna burn.
Yeah.
And there is a possibility, I mean, actual possibility that could happen if we'll not stop this possibility.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, yeah.
And maybe they are coming now with much more, to much more people, and they may be pushing even the governments to admit, because they maybe they know that we should do that now, and the government is really understand that there is no time anymore to play with that, and we have to.
I agree. I think, I mean, it's just my truth, my journey. It could change tomorrow, but my perspective at the moment is the governments of the world, so to speak, these people are fully aware, but they have no choice now. And from my experience, I have the awareness that either they start disclosing, so to speak, otherwise, because the dimensional beings are making contact on an individual conscious basis with millions and billions of people now, but they will become more visible. There's more videos coming up of UFOs daily. We have Google now trying to stop, and YouTube stop the videos, you know, from the cell phone, and they will just do a mass. They will come in more and more and more in the physical contact, as in viewing, if it's not revealed. And I think people shouldn't wait for the government to do anything. It's irrelevant. They're actually playing catch up, because these beings are doing contact. The contact's already happened. And I know, and I've heard of other groups, and especially in the group that I run with my friend Karen, people that have no ufology in their life at all are getting contacted one after the other. It's just happening globally. And I think there is a seriousness there that this has to happen, that every individual conscious singularity has to awaken and experience what you experience with these beings, the oneness, the connection. We are all one, we're all connected. But what my truth is, with the Pentagon and I said this with Suzanne Chancellor last week, she said it rather, sorry, because they have made this announcement, we're allowed to have these open conversations now. So it shows it really is happening, and it's not going towards what you perceive as a disaster. It's really the collective is coming together. We now can, have the conversation. So
yes, that's why I think we are in a very historical moment, because it started to happen.
Yes.
And maybe the governments are waiting for us to do that.
Yes.
Because it's connected to each one of us, every personality, to choose to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
And the visitors are very aware of our freedom of choosing, and they will not do something on force.
No.
Totally. They waiting for us to choose it and to do that, and probably the government too.
Yeah,
and then
correct.
they're going to have the freedom to started to talk about that and open it.
I mean, you were talking about the dreams I know in the group that I run with Karen, they're talking about now they're getting precognition dreams now. I mean, now they're getting them and they're seeing a possible world disaster. What does it mean? So, as I said, it's just possible. It's to wake up and take responsibility, to be aware. But the whole, for me, the whole surge is for the expansion of the awakening or consciousness to realize who you truly are. It's not something to attain, to get to, or work for. There's no doing. It's just to awaken, the same as the other sentient dimensional beings are already in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
He fascinates me, Karen.
Yes, it's. I think what you say is exactly, what I felt when I was out of my body and was connected to their consciousness, and they were like in a joyful heaven.
Yes. Yeah.
Really, I mean, when we say that, it looks too much innocent and too much like childish thinking. New Age is too much spiritual, but it was really that. I mean, and I was not in that world totally. I felt that with them. They have it in a very natural way. So this oneness, this heaven that they felt is a place of consciousness that exists now. I mean, heaven on earth is really now existent. It is. And it's all a matter of our consciousness to be open to that or to shut it down and be in a dark place.
It's free will and it's free choice. I do think with the experiences coming up like yourself and especially your book and even the work that Mary Rodwell's done, amazing work, is many people didn't realize they had a choice. They didn't know what was going on. And for the first time now, there's been a massive paradigm shift. Well, UFOs, real? Okay, well, and that's first. And then they start, the memories are coming. There's already contact that wasn't in their reality. So this is all going now. And the same thing is happening, what you spoke about, which I've experienced, is like, I know them, I'm connected. There's something. Yes. This is coming together globally at this moment in time. So it seems to be, in my truth, my perspective, it's not so much about seeing the craft in the sky, though it is happening, because there are levels of consciousness that still need to see that. They still need to physically see the evidence, to believe, so to speak, which is happening on that level of consciousness. But on the other level, there is the metaphysical, the deep understanding of what, I call it deconstructing the human. Deconstruct the human, who am I? That is just spreading to me. I'm wildfire. It's just, I can't even I'm like, wow, I spent a whole lifetime working through this, and in the linear
Yeah.
time, if you know what I mean. And it's
Yeah.
just like that. Boom, we're here. So it is
Yeah.
a historical time. It is a beautiful time. It may not be perceived by many as such,
Yeah.
but I think if you make the right choices, like Yossi says, you are going to have such a paradigm shift. It's childlike. It is childlike.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful experience. So sorry,
Yes.
you just encouraged me to communicate.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I can, it's all about what you said now. It's our, we live in a this duality of body in one side and rational thinking, and we have here bad people, and we have wars, and we had bad feelings, and we have disease, and we have so many bad things, and so we think that this is everywhere. I mean, this bad
yeah.
thing can be everywhere, and but the thing is that we have these two sides of consciousness, and the real pain and limitness is connected to is related to our body. But the other side is when it's like, that we have two sides of the brain, and the left side is the logical and the way we behave in our natural physical world, and the right side is much more abstract and connected to the different dimension, we can say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in us, we're doing the connection between these two, and this is probably our teaching, our learning here, the reason that we are in a body in the physical world is to make the connection between these two sides and give and like open the physical world to the light of the right side of the brain, like to make the connection physically between the right and the left side of the brain, and then we can do it. So one of the difficulties to understand the spirit world and the alien, the visitors, can be shown in the situation that we go a little bit out of our normal consciousness, like people that they have a clinical death, for instance.
Yeah.
They have a journey, and a very interesting journey. In the beginning of the clinical death, that they are out of their body, they see their hospital or wherever they are, they see their body, and they can say what they saw there. They saw the physical world that they are now disconnect from. But when they continue the journey, and most of them tell about this tunnel of light that they are going into the tunnel, and then they go out from the other side of the tunnel, and this is the other world.
Yeah.
In Hebrew, we say the world of truth. Olam ha'emet. Like they say, when we die, we go to the real world.
Yeah.
So in that real world, people that came back, that could survive and came back, tell what they saw. And each one say a different story. Now, most of them say that they were connected with very loving beings. One said that loving being that met me and contact with me was my grandfather that was already dead. And the other one say it was an angel. And the others say it was my beloved woman that died before me. But all of them say about the same love.
Yeah.
And they say the story after they wake up and telling the story through the brain, through the rational thinking.
Yeah.
So what's actually happening, they have to translate that angelic love, or this love that they felt there, that personality that came to meet them, in a way that they can give it a form, in a way.
Yeah.
So they have a different kind of form for different kind of people. And
Yes.
this is exactly what's happening now with our contacts.
Yes.
One seem like that and the other seem like this, but it's all the reason of we connect the oneness, and the oneness is full with all of them. The oneness is not a mesh, it's all of them there.
It's
the
all
angels,
everything,
the grandfather,
yeah,
Jesus,
everything and above,
is there.
everything. Yes,
Yes.
everything is included.
Is
It's
there.
quite diverse.
That's the oneness.
It is as it should be, and it's just constant creation, and that's the magic of it. I always say it's like going down the rabbit hole. And I've got to do, before we finish in a second, I've got to do a shout out to an elf. Now, the elementals, I have to do it. For me, the most recent, you know that I experienced the Greys, the Arcturians, it's all my life, you know, so-called abductions. And the most recent one, and I've never ever experienced this civilization or these dimensional beings. I've never, and today I experienced an elf, close contact, an elf, the most loving, childish, mysterious energy. I mean, I was smiling. It was joy, pure joy. And I thought, I can't mention this live on the show. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to mention it. So shout out for the elementals and in the experiences group, because I'm fully aware in the experiences, there are those that experience elementals, they experience angels, some are Arcturians, some are reptilians, and some are unnameable because you can't even name them. It's a new experience, and it's about allowing the new experience to come and enjoy the energies, the frequency of it. And it's so I've done it now, guys. I've shouted out for the elf. It was the most amazing, joyous, it's like being a child again. It was unconditional love, just happiness and joy and excitement. And I've done it. So there you go. So I think
that just reiterates what Yossi was saying about how they present themselves to us and in which forms, and it is in a form that we would understand or have that human consciousness of, in order for us to, like you say, put a bit of a label on it, really, to justify the experience, isn't it? Yeah. So so they the consciousness, the one consciousness, chose to show themselves to you in that form this morning.
In that
there's
form.
obviously a reason for that, and like you say, I think it was for the joy and for the upliftment.
Well, I think the Greys and the Arcturians and all the downloads are all about the awakening, and it's not serious, but it's all about the awakening, consciousness, the oneness. So it's about teaching or sharing, but this was just joy. It was like being a child in a magical place.
Yeah, I think this is one of the reasons that we love children so much, because they are still innocent and pure. They really feel that oneness without saying that. And when you near them, you can feel that too, because they are still not blocked by their rational thinking and the surviving the bad steps that gonna close them. And children still in the light.
I mean when I was having it's like lucid dreaming. I'm having the conversation. There was no label to this being, no label. And we were chatting. I don't recall what he told me. We were chatting away, and then he went to do something, and he joked about, I nearly caught my trousers as he was. And I went, in the lucid dream, I went, oh my God, it's an elf. And then it hit the left brain. But the experience was as natural and as normal to share. I was in it until the left brain, analytical. What's that? Oh my God, that's this, that's that. And so I thought, to overcome the left brain, I've done a shout out to the elf. I've done it now, so there you go. Why not? Why
Yes.
not? We've got to bring, not take life too seriously. Try and bring back the joy into life. We're in a new paradigm now, a new shift. Everything's changing rapidly, and our choices we make, what we put out, reflects back.
Yes.
I personally choose to reflect out as much positivity as I possibly can.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you can have a giggle on the way. Why not with the elves? Now we're coming to the close now. Yossi, it has been an absolute honor and privilege. And I recommend to all viewers and those that are going to watch it later or tomorrow, it's on YouTube as well. I do highly recommend Yossi's book. Please purchase it. It's inexpensive as well. It is so powerful. I had to message Yossi and tell him, I mean, I was blown away. And even for me, as just a lifelong experiencer, his book got me. We can always learn more. We can always open and accept more if we make them choices. So it'd be a good choice to buy his book. Yossi, before we go, is there anything you would like to say to the audience or to us at all?
Well, I said too much, I think. I said...
No, you haven't. We could have you on for hours. We could. We'll have to bring you back on the show on season 2. Any updates? We'll bring you back in at the end of the year on season 2. And you can share some more, because I'm sure you're going to have more information. Today was very deep. You really touched on the essence of consciousness. You really did. And the oneness. It was beautifully articulated, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're most welcome, Yossi. Okay, what's going to happen now is Cameron's going to put you back in the naughty room. We'll be with you in a minute, and we'll just say goodbye. Wow, what a wonderful show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gosh, what an amazing show. I'm trying to absorb it. Okay, everybody, right, that's the end of Open Minds for this week. Next week.
Can I just say a big shout out for us doing it on time? And, you know, just because we're not very good at that. We've been good at that today.
Let's not minimize our amazingness. Yeah, we've been fantastic. We had no mistakes. We did it on time today. Yeah, why not? I can take that too. I am still trying to absorb the energy of Yossi and that. However, next week, returning to Open Mind, she's coming back. We have the one and only amazing, oh my God, Roxanne Swainhart. She is coming back next Sunday. And this time, Roxanne will be channeling the interdimensional beings, and also from their perspective on what is happening now, consciousness, ufology, what it's all about, the oneness, the love, and basically deconstructing the ego to find out who you truly are. So we have the amazing Roxanne Swainhart next week, channeling.
Because she does so well at portraying across tools, like we was talking about before, on how we understand it in a certain way with certain words, and she does not mess about with those and get straight to that.
Straight to the point. She says it as it is, and she will try desperately not to cuss on the show, but we don't mind if it comes. But if she's channeling, I doubt if she'll cuss, but we don't mind. She is at you in her energy. You're just locked in. You can't help it, and the vibration comes through, and it's just amazing. So next week we have the wonderful Roxanne Swainhart returning to the show. So thank you everybody who's watched the show today live on YouTube. And for those that are coming later on to watch it later in the week, because everyone has a busy life, we hope you enjoyed the show. And we will see you, I think next week is the normal time, I think. Hold your horses. I need a secretary, by the way. Anyone want to be my secretary? Yes, Roxanne, who's in America, is coming on UK time, 11 a.m. next week. So from everybody, thank you so much. The show wouldn't be anything without you. And to my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Karen Shearer, See you on the other side. Shout out to my elf, girls. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Oh.